Recently, I've been emptying my mom's house as I prepare to do a major renovation, setting it up for my retirement, which will be a year from this June, so June of 2022. I was going through her stuff, and that's a difficult task that I'm sure all of you have had to do at one time or another. There are pictures of now elderly relatives of mine when they were just children. Pictures of my brother and I when we were from babies on up, and all sorts of other things. Well, as I was going through things, I opened up a box that was very carefully placed in one place and all, and it was all closed up. It was a very nice box. I said, well, what's this now, and all? And here it was, filled with love letters and Valentine cards from my mom and dad to each other, going way back from when they first started going together in the late 30s. It took me a few letters before I realized what the box was. The letters were sweet and full of love. Well, I closed the box and I disposed it because these letters were really private between my mother and father and only meant for their eyes. Valentine's Day should be a day of expressing deep love, and for many it is. But sadly, for some, Valentine's Day has been turned into something that is not love. For some, it's a promotion of sex, not married love, but simply sex. My parents would have never considered this when they wrote those beautiful letters to one another. My father was not a prude. He was warm and he was loving. But when it came to things promoted by the media, like when he first got HBO and found that there were some very suggestive shows available, he turned the station off and he said, "Not in my house." And he was so right. He wanted his house, our home, to be a safe place, a safe haven for his family. He wanted his house to be free of the assaults of the pornographic society. Our diocese has set this Sunday, the Sunday before Lent, aside as Safe Haven Sunday. It's an effort by the diocese and the parishes to help our families keep their homes safe from the influences of pornography. Pornography is a virus that attacks our marriages, our homes, and particularly our children and our middle school preteens, our teens, and our young adults. It also attacks many of our adults, resulting in them being unable to form a loving relationship with a possible spouse or destroying their marriages. This virus is destroying the health and well-being of minors, destroying family life, and destroying marriages. It destroys marriages as it leads husbands and wives to commit adultery with their eyes. This virus ravages the emotional and spiritual life of its victims. COVID destroys our health. Pornography destroys our soul. In today's reading, we hear about the restrictions placed on lepers. They had to live away from people outside of the camp, the first reading says. They had to call out unclean, unclean. The actions prescribed were certainly harsh, and they treated the sick people horribly. In today's bulletin, I wrote about how the terrible ways the Hawaiians treated the lepers of Molokai, Kuluapa, on the island of Molokai, and they lacked charity. But they didn't do this to be cruel. The reason for their actions was to protect society from leprosy. They were actions designed to keep their place safe, their home safe. Well, most of us have rules to keep ourselves and our homes safe from COVID. We wear masks. We don't let others into our house unless necessary. We limit the times that we leave the house to absolute necessities like shopping and doctor's visits. In the same way, we have rules to protect our children and our homes from the sickness that is destroying much of our society, pornography. Youth are an easy target for this virus. It captivates the curiosity of the young about their maturing bodies. Pornography invades our houses, including your children's bedroom, through the open door that is their smartphones, tablets, and laptops. It can hold its victim captive in the home that we strive to make safe. It preys on their youthful innocence and fuels their desire to explore new horizons in life that are opening up to them. At the same time, it darkens their lives. Parents, determining to have a safe home, often don't realize what is happening right under their noses. This virus instills fear of being discovered. It seduces children and teenagers to keep it secret. The fear and shame it arouses prevents them from admitting to their parents the inner turmoil that they're experiencing. This secret sickness draws its young victims to hide and isolate themselves from their parents or any adult that could help them. On the other side, parents and grandparents feel confusing feelings of shame and awkwardness when pornography is suggested. They really rather not talk about it. Yet it's precisely the avoidance of this avoidance that allows pornography to thrive. If it comes to light that a child is viewing pornography, parents may feel inadequate as what to say, at least beyond "don't do that," or worse, "I'm disappointed in you," or "I'm ashamed of you." Husbands and wives may say the same thing to each other when they learn that their spouse is viewing pornography. A hasty warning or a word of disapproval and nothing more often widens the distance of young people and teens from their parents, and husbands and wives from each other. Today, your diocese and parish encourage you to work through any hesitancy you may have and be beginning an important conversation with your child or your spouse on the issue of pornography. No one should face this attack alone. You need to have an open discussion with your child and with each other about the hidden virus that roams the world unchecked, seeking whom to devour. Moved with pity, Jesus stretched out his hand, touched the leper, and said to him, "I do will it, be made clean." Jesus was moved with loving compassion. He reaches out to us also as parents and grandparents, as husbands and wives, with the very same loving compassion. In a world fraught with dangers, there is power and strength in his love for you to guide you in the caring of your children and for each other. Parents, you possess a deep love for your son or daughter. Husbands and wives, you respect the treasure that you received at your wedding. Pray to the Lord for the courage to speak to God about the gift, to speak to each other about the gift of sexuality. Do not let porn hijack your marriage or your parental role. Do not let pornography infect your children with destructive attitudes and shame concerning human sexuality and marital intimacy. Jesus stretched out his hand and he touched him. Jesus actually touched the leper. He didn't simply heal him at a distance. He made physical contact with his diseased body. Fear inhibits all of us from speaking openly about pornography because, truthfully, it is dark, deceitful, and destructive. Husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, grandparents face these fears and inhibition with the Lord. Work through them with him and reach out in compassion to those who are suffering from the virus that is pornography. Speak words that will assure them that you will be with them to help them to overcome this and to claim their dignity as a child of God. The porn industry takes advantage of children's innocence, wounding their dignity and holding them bound in secrecy. Pornography becomes a wedge between husbands and wives. Your compassion as a parent will be a great blessing to begin healing this wound. Your love as a husband or wife will conquer this attack on your marriage. God empowers parents to bless their children. He empowers husbands and wives to bless each other. May the outstretched hand of our Savior Jesus Christ heal us all from whatever isolates us from being connected as a married family and as a couple, as parents and as sons and daughters of God. And may our homes be safe havens. God bless you now.